You're listening to Keystone Cold Cases, a podcast where we reignite cold cases across Pennsylvania.
Hey, it's Chelsea.
Hey, it's Melissa.
And hey, it's Shan. And before we start today, really quick, we just want to shout out in the new year all of our awesome Patreon members. You guys are amazing, and we just really quick want to mention you all by name. There's Colleen and Jess and Matt, who's Melissa's brother.
Don't even mention him.
And Heather and Lauren and Carrie and Alec and Brooke. And we just really appreciate you guys. And we're happy you're here with us in this new year, which is crazy that it's already 2025, but here we are.
Happy New Year.
Also, I want to shout out Melanie. You may have remembered her name from previous episodes. She researches incredible stuff for us, and she sends it over to us, and then we're able to read the case, and we also just really appreciate her. She's awesome, and she really does the best research probably out of all of us. She's great.
She really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We appreciate her so much.
She always has so much detail.
Yes. So today we're covering a young man. His name is Jason Andrew Knapp. He was born almost exactly 40-some years ago on December 30th, 1977. He grew up in York, Pennsylvania, and he graduated from Central York High School in 1996. He was super athletic. He really loved sports. He played football. He wrestled. He did cross country, all for his high school. He was social. He loved hanging out with his friends. He loved mountain biking, and he also loved target shooting. His mother, whose name is Deborah, she stated that her son was very handsome and he had a near perfect smile. And she called him very intelligent, but also, quote, very much a perfectionist, which I relate to.
Very type A.
He began his college journey originally in the fall of 1997 at Michigan, but Jason felt like this was not a good fit for him, and so he transferred to Clemson University in South Carolina, and he started a mechanical engineering degree there. That has to be so
Sometimes.
hard. I did not transfer
What
colleges.
mechanical engineering?
No, I mean transferring colleges.
I have to give him credit because sometimes it's really hard to make that connection that it's not working for you.
Right.
And I think it can be scary to, ask for a change, especially when you make such a huge decision.
Well, in both places, like he's from York, but he went to Michigan and then went to South Carolina. So not only is he making this big change by just like leaving his home area, but he did it twice to like far away from home. And I just give him so much credit because I did not go far away from home. I commuted most of my time in college, and I can't imagine like dealing with transferring.
My nephew right now, he's 18, he's about to graduate. He's looking to be everywhere else but here.
Yeah.
So I can feel that kid's sentiment.
I feel like that's the way. Either you want to stay home or you want to get as far away as possible. Early on in his life, he dreamed of being a pilot in the Air Force, but unfortunately, Jason was colorblind just like his mother, which I did not know that you could not be in the Air Force if you were colorblind.
So I'm like, I don't know how to describe it, but I'm not 100% colorblind, but I have hard time telling colors apart if they're like brown, blacks, purples, dark blues, dark greens. Cannot tell the difference at all. And it does limit you because I also wanted to go into the military for something else, and that was a problem.
It's so interesting. I did not know either of those things about you, Chelsea. So despite this setback, Jason continued to pursue his education, and he decided he actually instead wanted to be a NASCAR driver, which is like big pivot. I guess it's not if you want to like be a pilot. To like driving cars really fast is not a big pivot, but kind of funny. He loved driving fast. His mother said, quote, my son is kind of a speed demon. He is always driving too fast, and I was always fussing at him about it. And she always imagined like I guess her intrusive thoughts were like her son would be in a car crash. That's what her fear always was, that he drove so fast that he was going to be in a car crash. In the spring of 1998, so this is still his freshman year of college, but he had transferred to Clemson. He was doing well academically. He was carrying a 21 credit schedule, which is crazy.
Damn.
I did 18 credits and I thought that was like impressive. I cannot imagine
21's the max, right?
I think
it's the max.
Yeah.
I think so.
Most, at least when I went to school, I just remember them recommending that like most people do 15 and then some people do 18 if they're trying to carry a double major or a minor or graduate early or something. And
that was me. When my first semester I tried doing, I think it was like 19 or 20. I fucking failed. I was working full time and doing sports, and I was like, yeah, this ain't for me.
No, I did 18 credits all 4 years and worked, but not full time. But yeah, so he did 21 credits. He was also a member of the ROTC, and he was inducted into the elite Pershing Rifle Corps, which was the university's elite rifle program. So he was busy. That's a lot of responsibility and activities.
Yeah. Well, can I say one thing? His mother mentioned that he was a perfectionist. I feel like the military is kind of perfect for that. You have that like schedule, you have everything's lined up, and that's probably what he needed. I mean, I feel when people have a schedule and they know they're like booked, it keeps him kind of in line.
Yep. Totally. Very type A personality.
Like a routine is so necessary.
I love a routine. I'm obsessed with a routine. Almost every single day, Jason would talk to his mother. She said that he seemed in very good spirits. He was looking forward to the end of the semester, and he was making plans with a friend to find an apartment that he was going to move into for the summer and following year at school. On Easter weekend in 1998, the Saturday, like right before Easter, 20-year-old Jason and his friend started looking for these apartments. His mother spoke with him that afternoon, and she said that he sounded in good spirits, but this would be the last time that she ever heard from him. Aww. The next call she got in regards to Jason would be from his college roommates, which was the following Friday, so almost 6 days later. They had not seen him or his car since that previous Saturday. Because of their different class schedules and their campus commitments, jobs, activities, etc., they weren't at first super worried because it wasn't uncommon for Jason and his roommates to go for a few days without seeing each other. But what really threw up a red flag was some of Jason's fellow Army ROTC friends realized he had not been attending their physical training or their ROTC classes for a few days, and they came to the apartment and were like, hey, where's Jason? And when Jason's roommates were like, I don't know, we haven't seen him, they all became concerned. So at first, they kind of suspected maybe he just took off for a few days and he would be back. They even called a friend of his who was attending college in Pittsburgh, thinking maybe he went to visit her. And she was like, no, he's not here, and I have not talked to him for more than a week. When Jason was still not back after they gave him time to come home, that was the Friday, April 17th, that they decided to call his mother, Deborah. The same roommate that had last seen Jason on the Saturday placed the call. His mom immediately contacted the police, and they went to the apartment looking for him. So there are sort of, though, two accounts of the last time Jason was seen. The first account was at his apartment, which was at the 100 block of Calhoun Street in Clemson, South Carolina. So this was on Easter Saturday, April 11th, 1998. Apparently Jason and two of his roommates rented 2 movies, which I wonder if it was from Blockbuster, because that was totally the time for Blockbuster.
Or West Coast Video.
We were not West Coast Video people, only Blockbuster. So they rented their 2 movies, and at 10:30 p.m. they left him alone. He was still watching one of the movies, but they went, it doesn't say what they did. Went to bed, went out, who knows. There was another report, though, that on Easter Sunday, April 12th, Jason was last seen by his roommates leaving his apartment. He said he would be back, and he had clothes with him, but he had suitcases packed in his apartment, which makes sense if you remember, because he was going to be moving out of this apartment into a new apartment for the following year. His mom, though, said, this was a little strange to me, but we're going to go with it. His mom said that he had previously been upset about something. But she said, this is a quote, "I did not find it unusual that he did not call me that week. I knew most of the problems that had been upsetting him were resolved, and that he would be busy studying for finals, getting all his assignments up to date. I just assumed we would be talking over the weekend and making final arrangements about a new apartment for the following school year, and deciding on a date to come down and help him get packed up to return home for the summer." So, like, personally, I just wanted more about that. Like, what was bothering him but was resolved? Like, I guess they must have deemed it not relevant.
This reminds me so much of Bryce Last Pizza.
Oh, don't even get me started about that case. Oh, that case drives me crazy.
Oh my God, I know. If I had a magic genie, that's what I would wish for. Where is he? Like,
well,
but
I don't want to be an asshole, but like, as a parent, there were so many red flags.
I'm not a parent, so I'm just gonna shut my mouth. But yeah, but yes.
But
yes.
But
But that's
had
what this
so
is.
Many options to just go.
Shout out to Christian though, the tow truck driver. He is like the MVP of that case. But
he seems like the sweetest man. Oh.
But yeah, this is reminding me of that. Like, there was something going on with him, but nobody knew what it was, and now it disappeared out of nowhere. And this is right before holiday, and I feel like Bryce's was as well. Or before he was about to move home or something. But
yes,
this is giving me Bryce Last Pizza vibes, and I don't care for it.
So, about a week, a little after that Jason was last seen, his white 1990 Chevrolet Beretta with the PA license plate number APV 9032 was discovered abandoned. It was discovered on April 21st, 1998. So, just about 10 days later. The vehicle was parked at Table Rock State Park in Pickens, South Carolina, which was approximately 30 miles from Clemson University. And this is a very rugged area. The car was locked and parked in the first row of spaces along the Lake Park in South Carolina. Inside the car, the authorities found a park pass that had been bought between 3 to 5 p.m. on Easter Sunday. So this is like either the same day, some of his roommates may have seen him say like, "Bye, be back later," or the next day after he was watching the movie. There were tests that later did show Jason's fingerprints on this park pass that was purchased. So it wasn't purchased by someone else and then left there. Inside the car were also receipts from earlier on that day at a Wendy's, which was near his apartment. So that was dated the April 12th at 1:30. So if he was leaving, he went to Wendy's, he came to Table Rock, which was 30-mile drive, and he bought this pass. There was also an Ingles grocery store receipt in Seneca where he bought a 6-pack of root beer, not beer, and fruit juice.
That is a wild combination.
I was just thinking,
that's
those
so
do not
weird.
go together, but okay. Investigations by police also indicated that Jason withdrew $20 from his bank account and no other activity had taken place since that day. $50 in change was found in the console of the car. Also a lot of change.
Yeah, right.
$50 in change is a lot of change. Like, you could put that in a bag and hurt somebody with it.
Really good.
Yeah.
Chim's like, or so I've heard.
Yeah, I wouldn't know personally.
Good save. You're good.
Investigators believe that Jason drove to the park on April 12th. They have no idea, though, if he was alone. There was no sign of foul play at the vehicle's location.
Well, can I just say something? If he bought 2 different kinds of drinks, it kind of almost seems like maybe there was somebody with him, right?
Right. Like, you're not open up a root beer and a grape juice and like swig, like double fisting that. And like, how long do you think you're going to be gone that you need 6 root beers and fruit juice?
Well, I don't know why that's like the choice of drink going on a hike to like a park.
I was going to say
no one drank water.
I still don't drink it. I just carry it around.
Well, like,
to be fair.
All my kids at work are like obsessed with their little water bottle. They need a drink every 4.5 minutes. And I just want to be like, in my day, we weren't allowed to bring water to school. We just suffered and swallowed our spit. And maybe on the way to gym class, we drank at the water fountain.
Ew, that the kid in front of you just put his friggin' mouth all over.
Exactly.
Stop. I can't.
So, yeah, root beer and fruit juice is a strange combo, but
it's weird that it's not water or Gatorade or even like a protein shake. You know what I mean? Well, like anything.
I don't think people. I never remember talking about being hydrated until like my 20s.
That's true.
That's fair. Much later than not much later, somewhat later than 1998.
Yeah, no, you're right.
The police checked his apartment, and there was his checkbook. Like I said, there was the examination of his bank account. He had taken out that $20, but past that, it had been untouched, and there was a considerable amount of money in it. I don't know how much that is, but that's what the police said.
I feel like if you're talking about a college student, though, like
it could have been $100.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that could have been substantial for them, right?
He didn't spend it all on Chick-fil-A. Yeah, who knows? But his suitcase that he was packing with all of his clothes and personal belongings, they were all still in the apartment as if he was still getting ready to move to his new apartment. Additionally, there was no evidence that he planned to harm himself, as his rifle and some ammunition were also found in the closet of his bedroom in the apartment completely untouched. His bed had been stripped and the bed linens rolled into a ball as if he was going to do laundry when he came home. Also, big time props for a college kid, a college boy, washing sheets. Because we dropped my brother off at college and picked him up at the end of the semester, and the same sheets were on his bed.
Oh, stop it.
Boys are gross.
Boys are so gross.
His mother, Deborah, pointed out to the investigators that Jason was obsessed with his car stereo. In 1998, your stereo usually could be detachable, or at least the face on the stereo was detachable. She said he was obsessed with it. He was terrified it was going to be stolen, and he almost always removed it from his vehicle when he was leaving his car parked somewhere, especially, she said, in a public parking lot like Table Rock, where petty crime could easily take place, and there's lots of people in and out, traveling from near and far, and like it would be impossible to ever be found. So he was like very, very like a stickler about that. So she thought it was very, very strange that his car stereo was like not changed.
But what's he gonna do with it? Carry it on a hike? I mean, did he like stash it under his seat or like put it somewhere where no one could see? Like,
I don't know. Like, nothing said that. If it's just the face, like, those are pretty small, because my brother replaced a car stereo a few times. They're like not that big. Like, if you were going on a hike with a backpack, like, you could put it in your backpack. But if you weren't bringing a backpack, like, you wouldn't want to hold it, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe in the trunk. And, you know, so they're not encouraged to, like, break your window. I don't know. The park ranger at Table Rock State Park had seen the car parked there for over a week. But at first, he wasn't suspicious because hikers often left their car parked there for a long time. They were camping, and there was a guest book at the trailhead, but it wasn't unusual that people didn't sign it. So he didn't really think anything of it right away. After his car was found, 3,400 man-hours were completed of searching by volunteers and search and rescue professionals, which included dog teams. We love dogs. From both North and South Carolina. Searchers crisscrossed 10,000 acres
Wow.
I don't really speak in acres. I don't really know exactly how much that is, but that's a lot of acres.
So
10,000
many.
is a lot of land.
Well, think about it. If it's in a park, it's probably not all flat either. It's
Correct.
probably some steep terrain.
Correct. Yes. They brought cadaver dogs. They drained a lake. They checked sewers, and not a single clue was found that could prove that Jason ever even went in the park, except that his car was parked there. Authorities even installed cameras at the bottom of the park's watershed and searched for evidence, and they found nothing. There were also, though, heavy rains during the time of the search, so this may have hindered the dogs being able to pick up Jason's scent or other evidence that could have been washed away.
Well, it drives me crazy because I feel a lot of crimes happen in parks, state parks, national parks. They really should have cameras, honestly. Like, at least somewhere. At least, like, coming in, going out, like, before the trailhead. There's, like, forest cams that don't really cost a lot of money. But there's so many crimes.
Yeah.
So many.
I wonder if it's different now.
Bryce Lespice's car was in a park. Just saying.
It was, but they did have video. They totally had video.
They did. That's the weird part. No, there's like even, I'm pretty sure a couple podcasts that just cover like disappearances and murders in parks. Park Predator.
Yeah, because there's so many.
Yeah, there's a couple.
That's a
like,
Crime Junkie
yeah, Audio
spin-off.
Chuck.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I just feel like you're right. There needs to be something because there's a lot of shit going on in those parks.
And honestly, those parks don't have a lot of actual employees to cover that expanse of land. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy. Additionally, Jason was relatively new to the community. He only came to Clemson, like I said, a short time before he disappeared. Unlike most missing person cases, Jason didn't have like a large, well-established local support network to provide any insight into his social habits or routine. Which Chief Deputy Chuck James with the Pickens County Sheriff's Office let us know that definitely makes it more difficult as well to, I don't know, on Criminal Minds they say like you profile the victim. It's hard to profile the victim when they're not in a routine. So just a little bit about Table Rock State Park. It is very dangerous. Several deaths have been caused by falling off the path there. Since 2015, 2 people have died and 2 others have been seriously injured after falling off the path. Google map images can show you even that like the view is like stunning and beautiful, but the trails are super narrow and it's very easy to fall from them. And the main trail to the mountain is like a 5-hour round trip. So that's like a long hike and it's dangerous.
So I'm like super big into like hiking and stuff like that. And me and a couple friends and Landon, my son, who I think was maybe like 11 at the time, we went up to New York to go hiking. And we picked this wonderful park. It had great reviews. Problem was it had terrible service. And even we wanted to follow certain trails and you had to like do it digitally. We couldn't access it. And we ended up on a very, very scary trail. And like, by the time we got to a point when we realized it was like pretty dangerous, like we either had to keep going or go back, and both weren't like optional. And I was so terrified because I have a child. Right. And I remember at one point we were on like, they're called gorges because it was New York, waterfalls, you know, literally a water pipe going between 2 gorges. And he walked over before I even realized what he walked over. And I was like, well, I guess he's dead now. I'm not going. I was like, because we're a couple 100 feet off. If we slipped, it was done. And sometimes I feel like people go hiking not realizing the absolute dangers. And I've been hiking and doing that stuff forever. And it caught me so fast off guard.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be really scary for people who were experienced. And yeah, if he was hiking and just slipped or didn't understand or was, you know, dropped his root beer and went after it, who knows? Very weird.
Another thing is, for anyone listening, if you're going to go hiking by yourself, fucking tell somebody. Tell someone where you're going. Give them a time frame so they know immediately, because you want to survive. Your chances will be higher survival if someone knows where you are.
Yeah.
Like, if you need time, fine. Just fucking tell someone.
And even, like, I've seen this thing where, like, if you're going to do that and you think it's somewhere with poor service, like, change your voicemail message thing so that when someone calls you, it says, like, hey, I'm Chelsea. I went hiking here at this place on this day. If you have not heard from me, send a search party, basically, because that's common that there's poor service out there. And we're lucky that in this time there are cell phones at all. So, unfortunately, the police have gotten hundreds and hundreds of tips and leads, and they have all just been dead ends. And one detective even noted that some have been, quote, off the wall crazy, which we know most cases get some crazy tips. The City of Clemson Police Chief Jimmy Dixon, whose department handled this case at the time, they handed the case over to the Pickens County authorities once Jason's car was found in their jurisdiction. And he said that his investigators, quote, exhausted every possible lead we could exhaust from the get-go. In February 2004, which would have been 6 years later, hunters in Oconee? Sure.
Sounds good.
Great. County found a skull in some of the woods in the Welcome Church community. The State Law Enforcement Division and Oconee County investigators built a clay facial reconstruction of this skull. They pursued the possibility that the skull could be Jason's, but ultimately the skull was determined to be a man in his 40s, so not Jason. In another case, in 2008, Jason's mother was faced with the words of a killer directed directly towards her and Jason's family. Pickens County investigators interviewed Gary Michael Hilton, and he had pled guilty and was sentenced to life in prison for killing a hiker in Georgia. And he was a suspect for a few deaths, or the deaths of a couple in North Carolina. These were in mountains near Brevard, and former Pickens County Sheriff David Stone released a recording of the interrogation in which Hilton denied any involvement in Jason's disappearance, and he addressed them directly. And he said, "I'm sorry for your loss. I've seen my victims' families crying in court, and I know what you're missing. I want to assure you that there is absolutely no light that I can shed on the matter of your son." He also said, "I say that realizing that it certainly fits in with the modus operandi that I have used in several crimes that I'm suspected of, but in this case, it's just coincidence." So that's kind of crazy that guy addressed them.
It is, but I like me and Melissa said earlier, there's a lot of cases of murder and people disappearing in state parks. I'm sure this isn't the only guy's MO for targeting people in state parks. They're unassuming people. Some of them might be alone.
Yeah.
But at least he cleared it up. Didn't let them go thinking, could it be him?
Yeah.
It gave them that closure that it was not him.
Yeah, exactly. So, like you literally just said, there's so many disappearances and missing people and deaths associated with parks. And there were two that kind of could be connected maybe, or at least are notable. The frustration over Jason's disappearance is shared by the investigators and from the different jurisdictions, and the other two probably unrelated but still unsolved crimes are from the 90s. Stacy Brooke Holzenbach was 18 years old when she came to Clemson in 1996, which would have been 2 years before Jason. She was pursuing a career in medical research, and her body was found in Lake Hartwell in February 1997. So again, if she came in this fall semester, probably September, she was only there for 5 months. Her body was found in the remote area of Oconee County months later. She had been sexually assaulted, and 2 Clemson students told police that the night before she went missing, they had been out four-wheeling. They told the authorities that they got stuck in mud, they all got in a fight, and then Stacy started walking back to campus, and it was a 3-mile walk. Her body was found the next day. She had been strangled and, like we said, sexually assaulted. She was in the lake.
Well, I just gotta say, like, go in 2s or 3s. Like, what the hell? How could you leave a girl to walk back 3 miles along a road? I mean, we're past the point of, like, the hitchhiker danger and all, like, the crazy stuff that happened in, like, the 80s and 90s. Like, this is the end of the 90s. Like, what the heck?
Right. And, like, this poor girl, like, I don't know. I just remember being so young and naive, like, my freshman year of college, and, like, trusting people that, like, thank God we're not crazier, you know?
I get that.
So in June 1992, which would have been 6 years before Jason went missing, Norsada Hussein, she was a Clemson graduate student from Malaysia, and she was preparing to speak at a national meeting of food scientists about her process for removing caffeine from tea when she was abducted at a coin-operated laundromat. She was petite, a 30-year-old graduate student. She was just folding her clothes at the laundromat, and she was attacked. Her blood was spattered inside and outside the laundromat, and an autopsy showed that she had been stabbed in the throat. Lane Byers, a Pickens County Sheriff's Lieutenant detective, said that this was a case that haunted them for years. And he was an investigator on both Hussein and Jason's cases. He thought there might be a break in the case when another woman's body was found near where Hussein's body has been found, but no connection was ever actually found between them. In January, Byers said he received a call about a pair of brothers in Oconee County who had been interviewed years before, but were reported to have something new to say, but nothing ever came from this tip. He said at the time, it didn't pan out like we were hoping, but at least someone is remembering this case and they're still talking about it. Unless we're looking at it and not seeing it, there's nothing there that we can dig in on. I would love for somebody to call in. That would make my day. So yeah, there seems to be a few things connected with Clemson going around in the 90s that all haven't been solved yet, which is very sad. In January 2018, Jason's family had him declared legally dead. So this was 30 years after, just kidding. This was 20 years after he went missing. His mother felt like it was time to have a service for him so that Jason's family and friends could say goodbye to him.
Now I know, like, families want to keep out, like, hope, you know, but, like, at some point there's got to kind of be closure. If there's literally nothing, I feel like a lot of people say it's hard to disappear.
Yeah.
And I can't even believe how hard it could be. And he's just a kid. And, like, even if she's not ready to let go, I'm sure there's a ton of other people that are, you know, loved him so much that need that closure.
Yeah. It's so hard. I can't imagine how hard it is to decide what is the right thing. And I'm sure it's different for every family. Both of Jason's parents traveled to South Carolina for a private memorial service at Clemson University. It was planned by Jason's friends that had been involved in the ROTC program and the Pershing Rifles Corps. There was also a memorial service for him in his hometown of York, PA. And unfortunately, 1 year later, Jason's father passed. Before Jason's mom left his apartment near Clemson University in 1998, she filled a backpack from her 20-year-old son's room with a change of clothes and his toothbrush and some other personal items. She said, "I figured that when they called me that they'd found him, I would have it for him." She still has this. Oh. I know. I'm going to cry.
How heartbreaking.
I know. She still has this backpack, but she has no answers about where Jason is or what happened to him on Easter Sunday, when he just seemingly vanished into the shadows of Table Rock State Park. Jason's mother believes that people knew Jason's name and story in South Carolina, but she said his story wasn't as well known around his hometown of York. When Jason went missing, the media wasn't what it is today. Nowadays, everything is on the internet right away, but when Jason went missing, it was very hard to get his story more publicized. She also said, quote, "I think somebody knows something about Jason's case because that park has people from all over the country. Maybe they weren't local, maybe they've gone home, and they have no idea that they know something crucial."
About the statement of that you said that it was hard to get the story more publicized. I'm not going to lie. I recently watched a new Netflix, small little, it's like a 2-episode true crime thing. Of course, I'm not going to remember the name. We watched it the other night. And basically what had happened was a mom gave her kid up for adoption because she was really young. Kid got adopted. And then she vanished as a teenager. And the only way that the biological mother found out is when the police reached out for DNA.
Crazy.
This mom, who did not raise this child, fought for years. No one was looking into it. Everyone kind of put it under the rug. And she fought tooth and nail for this child that she never even got to hold. And because of her, not only one, she knew who killed her kid, knew where the kid was, and been saying it for years. And she found ways to get it publicized even though no one wanted to do it for her. And I feel like there are ways, but they're not easy ways. They're not cheap ways. But the persistence, and I'm sure it's hard. You're losing somebody. It's hard to think about, but I think you have to be a freaking grizzly bear. You can't let up. I feel like if, God forbid, something ever happens to Landon, the police would not want me at all to be hounding them.
Well, and it's so hard. You never know what situation someone is in. I don't know, did Jason have siblings? Was she, the distance between where he went missing and their home, was that difficult to go back and forth or to, you know what I'm saying? There's so many things. I totally agree with what you're saying, but it's just sometimes the reality is you're not able to do what you, as much as you wish you could.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
The decision to have him declared legally dead doesn't mean the police investigation into Jason's disappearance will stop or that his family will no longer look for him. Authorities haven't received any new leads about his disappearance in years. Billboards, flyers, and 2 short segments on America's Most Wanted publicized his disappearance. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children joined the search in more recent years, reviewing the case and offering age progression photos. Still, his disappearance is a mystery. No clues were ever found, and no one has come forward with any information. But nevertheless, every single year, police make a concerted effort to push the story out to local media in an effort to drum up additional leads to pursue. So, just some identifying information. His full name is Jason Andrew Knapp. He's been missing since April 12th, 1998. He went missing from Clemson, South Carolina. He is white. His birthday is December 30th, 1977. If he is still alive, he would be 47 years old. He disappeared when he was 20 years old. He was approximately 6 foot tall and 150 pounds, which means he is string bean, in my opinion.
Yep.
He was wearing a t-shirt, blue jeans, blue sneakers, and possibly a hat with the Army ROTC insignia on it and a watch. His white 1990 Chevrolet Beretta with the Pennsylvania license plate number APV 9032 is accounted for, but if you've seen the vehicle, please call with a tip. He had brown hair and blue eyes. He had a very faint scar on the knuckles of his right middle finger. He was blood type B positive, and he went by a nickname of Jace. He may have been carrying an expired prescription card, a Keystone Health Plan Central HMO card, an MBNA America Bank card, a Wachovia ATM card, and an additional bank card at the time of his disappearance. Anyone with information about Jason's disappearance is asked to call Pickens County Sheriff's Office at 864-898-5500, or you can call the Crime Stoppers tip line at 864-898-8888. KOPS.
That's all we have for this episode of the Keystone Cold Cases podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and please consider leaving us a review wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to find out more about the podcast, the hosts, and the cases we cover, or if you want to suggest a case, please visit us at kccpod.com or send us an email at keystonecoldcases@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook at Keystone Cold Cases and on Instagram and TikTok at KCCPod. Please remember never to reach out to family or friends of the victims, only to law enforcement if you have any tips. This episode was researched and hosted by me, Shan. Find all of our sources, social media info, and contact information at KCC Pod. Theme music by Darren Makins and production assistance from me, Shan. Join us again next week for another case to sleuth out.